Hair lift and volume. If you need some more of this, then this video is perfect for you. I am a guy with really thin strands of hair, also really flat strands of hair as well. And this means it's incredibly difficult for me to get hair that is more voluminous and has more lift than your standard boring flat hair that droops down. I have tried pretty much every single product on the UK market in search for some products and a combination of routines that will help me to get better lift and volume in my hair. And I finally come up with the best solution possible. Now this will work great even if you've got, thin, flat hair such as myself, or if you've already got reasonably thick hair anyway. In that case, you're going to get even more lift and volume using this technique. Now fair enough, my hair might not be as big and brash and bold as other people's hair that you see. However, I'm not fortunate enough to have their hair type. For me, this is a huge amount of lift, and I can promise you, if you've got reasonably thick hair that is of a similar type to these other people, that this method is going to give you way better results. First of all, let's have a look at the tools that you're going to need. A hairdryer, volumizing mousse, a hair product of your choice. I'd recommend going for either a putty, paste or clay. A curved barber's brush. If you want to see a proper review for this product as well to see how truly amazing this thing is, I'll leave a link to that video in the description. If you still need extra volume after using this technique, you can also use either some volumizing powder or some volumizing hairspray to finish it off. And finally, of course, you're going to need yourself a good size mirror with reasonable lighting in the room as well. I'm going to demonstrate to you my traditional routine for getting more volume and more hold in my hair. I find that using this technique lasts all day. So for this, I'm going to need to start off with some wet hair. So let's do a little jump cut and I'll see you in a minute or two. Okay then fellas, you want to start off with towel dried hair, and that's exactly what I've got in this section of the video. First of all, I'm going to find my side parting, and I'm going to do this by rubbing the brush through first just to get all my hair generally in a backwards position, and then I'm going to use the comb in order to find a more precise point. So you can see here I'm putting the comb in and just combing the hair across to the side. The main bit that I want to lift on is the main body of the hair, and I want to keep the other bit down. So I'm using my comb and sliding it forwards and backwards in order to pull any of the loose hairs onto either the top section or the side part section of my hair. So now I'm going to apply a small amount of the volumizing mousse as the pre-styling product. If you're not using a pre-styling product at the moment, I would highly recommend this one. A lot of people do use other products such as gels or pastes. However, I find that during the blow drying process, these things don't blow up as much as this volumizing mousse does. The volumizing mousse's effect actually increases the more heat you put upon it, so this is perfect for using just before the blow drying phase. So I've spread it evenly through my main body of my hair. However, you can see I've left the side parting area clear of this because I want to keep this part downwards. Okay, so now I've got an even spread of this through my hair. I've combed it through to make it a little bit more evenly spread. So now it's time for the blow dry, and again we're just going to blow dry the initial bit a little bit drier. Now I like to hold down my side part and then blast the main body in all directions using the blow dryer, and initially this may not look like it's really drying my hair all that well. However, I am pinning down the side part to make sure that that area doesn't get blasted upwards by the blow dryer. You want to really use your hairdryer and blow your hair in all directions, not just the direction that your hair is meant to go. If you blow it in all directions, the hair will then stand up a lot more easily than if you're just blowing it flat. So you can see here this just goes on, and I am blow drying this simply in all directions, a bit of a crazy way, until it goes dry. As we go onwards, in order to keep the shape that I'm looking for, we are going to use the barber's brush in order to kind of form it. You can see here I'm pulling upwards on the hair. I'm grabbing a little bit at a time and pulling it upwards. Just grabbing the end and pulling it vertically in order to give a little bit more lift, especially to the front areas of the hair that are going to be showing off the most. For this, you can either use the barber's brush, which is just the one I'm using in this video, or you can use a slightly smaller brush with a more curved external face, which may give even better effects. I'm also shaking the brush through the hair as well. If you shake the brush ever so slightly, you'll see that it lifts up those back hairs as well in order to give a little bit more volume towards your scalp area. So I'm just going to repeat this process until the hair is completely dry, and I'll see you in a second. Okay then, we've completed the blow drying phase, and you can see now I've already got significant volume in the hair. And this is from someone who's got really flat hair, so if you've got quite thick hair and wide strands of hair, you're going to get incredible lift. It's time to add the finishing product, and in this case I'm using the Pete and Pedro putty, which is in my opinion the best product on the market for anyone with short to medium length hair. I'm going to get a finger size amount and rub that between the palms. I'm going to rub this through the hair, not just externally. I'm going to make sure this goes right down to the roots, because there's nothing worse than weighing your hair down. If you can get the product right into the roots, you'll make sure that it lifts upwards from the roots rather than just pinning the hair flat and downwards. And look at the height of hair you can get with this technique. Now, in terms of the finishing product, the one I've recommended is probably the best in my opinion. However, you can use anything of your choice. It might vary slightly depending on your hair type. And we're just going to use the barber's brush just to move it back into the perfect position that we're looking for. I'll add one last dab of the putty in order to get the finishing look perfectly in position. If you want to add any extra volume, you can always add a volumizing spray. Just give it a small mist from a medium distance away. You may also want to add some volumizing powder. Just dab a small amount of this above your head onto your hair, and again work that into the roots, and this can give insane volume. This stuff is really, really powerful, so make sure you don't use too much of this. This is really good if you have incredibly thin hair, but this is definitely the most potent method to use. This stuff can make your hair feel quite clumpy and a bit too thick sometimes, so you have to be careful and very sparse with the amount that you use. And there we go, gentlemen, masterpiece complete. You're ready to take on the town and to charm those ladies.